Well, hello peeps, today I have for you my first solo shuffle as a caster. Now, of course, the gameplay is janky and not the focus of the video. I also started recording only in the second round, so I want to take this time to more talk about me casting seriously in the PvP for the first time as a melee zigzag enjoyer for over 10 years. So, first off, why Destro lock? It really just has to do with the fantasy of it. I mean, there's not much to say. Chaos bolts go boom boom, right? It's just a fun... how do you say, fun thing to do, right? A fun idea, fun fantasy. Also I played BFA and I got smacked with chaos bolts in my face. So in BFA when those were like particularly deadly, right? So it's just, how would you say, how would you say, a class I would think I would enjoy, and I have definitely enjoyed. On another note, I really think Destro design is quite amazing, and I'm talking about the way you do damage. Like, first of all, your Infernal just enables more Chaos Balls casts, meaning that even with like no cooldowns, when you have your damage like prepped up, you still feel like you're chunking people, like destroying people. Basically what I'm trying to say is that Destro is definitely one of the classes that has a very good feeling buttons, right? Like your every button feels like it's, yeah, chunking the person or doing something important for you. Every global just feels good to press, and like even the feelers, right? Even like your feelers are very strong. Your incinerates can crit a lot. Like emulate will give you shards, so you don't feel like you're wasting time pressing it. It also deals okay damage, right? Your confligate speed up your cast, so like none of these things. You never feel like you're pressing a button that's like useless. That is what I'm basically trying to say. And before like warlock mains jump on me again, this is like just my feeling after playing the spec in PvP for like 2 hours. I know the spec is not perfect in PvP, I know it has issues, but I also think it's one of the specs that has a really good design when it comes to how it deals damage, because it doesn't have cooldowns like that you need to kind of work around. It's more about prepping your damage and then just, finding time to do that damage. Ultimately, what would be like the point of me, a zigzagger for 12 years, playing a caster here and, kind of talking about it, is to really get a realistic look from the other perspective, right? I talk a lot of crap about the range specs, this expansion, and for a reason, right? But I also do have to be realistic that tunings have happened and most range specs are not tank specs anymore, and I shouldn't like paint everybody with the same paintbrush. But again, main point is to get a realistic look at the range perspective by being the range, right? It's not like enough to just be like, okay, the warlock has port, the warlock has gate, right? You actually have to experience trying to use those things and like see like, okay, this is how I screw up, this is where people catch me, this is how not to fake cast. Like there's like a lot of things that are still foreign concepts to me as a melee player, and unfortunately, right, because leveling is so quick, you're done with leveling in like let's say 10-ish hours, and then you're like immediately put into like the content, right? So like I'm immediately here playing with people who maybe are on their main class perhaps, or not maybe on their main class, but you know what I mean, right? Not only, yeah, so I think it's just very good practice for, especially like for people who only play melee, to definitely jump on some range spec that they think they're gonna enjoy, and try to do some things like, yeah, this round like particularly I show my weaknesses as like a range player, right? I just get trained down when I could have like done so much a better job kiting, and yeah, and like yeah, I'm not using even my racial and whatnot. Like it is kind of a janky racial, but still, right? I've done nothing in that specific round, how would I say, like nothing good as far as kiting. But it's also gonna show you, right, like how you give you some respect for people who do really good kiting, who really understand as well how a melee chases, right? So you definitely gain some respect for good range casters by actually trying to play the caster, right? Here we're just gonna commentate on the rest of the match. Fortunately for me, I don't get focused like most of these rounds anymore. I think maybe here I get focused down again, but completely my fault, right? Like I'm playing in a very aggressive and just overall stupid manner, let's say. Like I'm just sitting there in their face, like I could be kiting away, trying to do some stuff like this here. Like I should have been just kiting away and trying to get the cooldowns of the paladin, but like paladin is also in a weird position here, unfortunately, so kind of is what it is. I mean, it is like what 1000 rating lobby, so like Don't judge the people too much here. I definitely am also excited about, how to say, leveling up more range specs, because it definitely gives you a good like idea. Like now, whenever I'm playing against a warlock, I just have like, how would you say, a complete understanding of what the warlock can do to, you know, to kind of survive, right? It's not like, oh, can the warlock do this, or, you know, how would you say, is the teleport coming now? Like, I have a much better feeling of how the damage happens, the damage comes out, but then also, right, what the warlock can actually do, right? Which is, I mean, with the warlock, it's quite simple. They can port and they can gate, right? They can't really do too many special moves, right, to kite you away, right? They have two moves, right? And they can also burn, I forget what the ability is called, but like burn one of the shards, right, to get how do you say, freedom on the port. So like there's a few things they can do, but it's like only a few things. So like warlock, I think, is a very good also starting point, right, if you're like trying to do caster, just because like a class has a lot of, how would you say, thinkability also built into it, so you don't have to rely on simply kiting, right? It definitely was also a good choice for like a first-time caster. I think Destro is still like I'm having a very good luck here to not get focused down, to like be just able to free cast and just try to play the class. Like, look at my positioning. Like, why am I sitting on the priest? Why is the priest able to fear me there? Like, it's because I'm a melee player, and like in my head I should be closer to the action, right? Or like the class that I would usually play as a range spec would be Hunter, and Hunter is like a lot more mobile, you know, can chase a lot more, can, you know, behave in a lot more melee fashion, which, you know, with the caster, right, like, especially with like Destro lock, you really can't do that. Then they get really close to killing our dude here. I get some nice EC to get them off. I'm like also not using my what you call them, curses and everything. So like definitely still a lot of practice for me to do on the Destro warlock. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things YouTubers want you to do, and have a nice day.